that they won, and potentially off the back of this, they also have to go and play in a UEFA Super Cup final against Tottenham Hotspur off the back of that incredible 5-0 win against Inter. Why have you been so impressed by PSG this year, Don? Technically, they don't really have a proper number 9. If anything, it's a very custom 4-3-3 that they play, and everyone in that three is a goal scorer.
I think the biggest lessons that Luis Enrique's learned since he was the Spanish team coach was there was a game at the time that was very much predictable in terms of keeping hold of the ball, generating close to 750 passes a game, but not particularly exciting. I think the game now under Enrique and this young Paris Saint-Germain team now is evolving. Now we're going to see, I think, in the next 18 months now, the game completely changing and going away from a possession-based game that you'll see. I think they've got players, and the biggest compliment I can pay to PSG is looking at the players that are on the pitch today. There's probably 6 or 7 players at world-class level. So how do you try and improve this PSG side? This is without Dembele, who's on the bench, but arguably 6 or 7 unbelievable players playing at the very top of their game.
Welcome into Miami. They are the only American side that have made it through to the knockout stage at the FIFA Club World Cup, and the only CONCACAF side to be a European giant in this FIFA Club World Cup. This is really what this tournament's been all about, Don. Showcasing football clubs from all around the world, but showing, can they compete on the big stage? And we saw that from Inter Miami in this very stadium against Porto.
Yeah, that was my intrigue coming into the tournament. How was European giants and the powerhouses, would they steamroll players with their teams, as either Brazilian sides or South Korean sides? But they've shown their quality, they've showed their technique, the Argentinian sides at the same time. I think it's been a wonderful tournament. It's been very exciting to learn the different styles and see how players match up against each other. But from an Inter Miami point of view, all their hard work comes from the young players in midfield, especially out wide in Allende and Segovia. Messi and Suarez won't do as much running as they used to do. They've got a combined age of 76, but they're still genius when they've got the ball at their feet. And that's my takeaway watching Inter Miami. As I said before, watching Messi, you could easily watch him. And here he is. Let's listen into this reception. My takeaway watching this genius, he seems to be 3 or 4 steps ahead of anyone else, because you could quite easily put a player cam on him and he can be down the left-hand side of the pitch. 5 moves later, he's moved over to the right side and he's found space.
Well, surprisingly, he hasn't missed a single minute of this FIFA Club World Cup so far. His first game at 38 years of age as well. You're right to say him and Luis Suarez share quite the age between them, but they also share over 1,200 career goals. Handshakes between the players and the referees, and then we'll talk more about the sides that are coming in to this round of 16 clash. Yesterday, we saw 6 goals in the round of 16 matches. We also saw 2 red cards. Here's the sides as they come into the match here at the Atlanta Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's the same goalkeeper and back line. There is only one change in the side, and it comes in the attacking sense. One thing that they have had to struggle with, Luis Enrique, is there's been no Ousmane Dembele. Who fills the void? It's Bradley Barcola with his first start today since May in the French Cup final. Normally, the assist provider. Can he be a goal scorer today? On the opposite side for Inter Miami, also a very familiar side, Oscar Ustari, some have said the goalkeeper of the tournament after his heroics. Their only change is Jordi Alba back into the side following a hamstring injury. That gives Noah Allen the chance to drop over to a centre-back role. Aside of that, it's the same formation, a strong 4-4-2. But how is it going to get on against this PSG side? Only time will tell. As we said, it's the big one here from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, a packed house in Atlanta, Georgia. And up next, it's PSG. slogan is the freedom to dream. Or can they be dreamers today and eliminate the European giants, the European champions? As PSG takes centre stage against Inter Miami, here live from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And it looks to be a very interesting start from kick-off here.
Well, welcome back to 1992, playing for territory.
I mean, off the get-go here, we have to speak about the battles that are going to be happening in this game, Don. Noah Allen played most of his last 20 games or so in the league as a left-back. He comes over to centre-back now. Where there has been change in this Inter Miami side, it's been on the defensive back line. Jordi Alba does come in. We know how influential he is. He needs no introduction. But on the pitch, there's going to be some really interesting individual battles. I'm thinking especially there in the centre-back area, but in that midfield too. Sergio Busquets, I know he doesn't often have to run, but whoever's alongside him in Redondo, he's going to have a real shift on his hands here.
Well, you just see from that Astari goal kick there, PSG in a really high static press, but I don't think Inter Miami can afford to play a rigid 4-4-2. They'll set up like that, but surely Busquets will use his experience to try and bring Segovia a little bit closer to him. Redondo will play in midfield, but he needs to have a word with his Argentinian teammate Allende to play a little bit narrow, because they can't afford to be in a rigid 4-4-2 against a three-man midfield of Vitinha, Jean Neves and Fabian Ruiz. Otherwise they won't see the ball.
Well, for Inter Miami, this is how they line up. Oscar Ustari in goal, Albert Allen, Falcone and Cello along their back line. It's the simple 4-4-2 as we've come to expect from them. There is huge emphasis on those two wide players at Allende and Segovia. Both have scored in the FIFA Club World Cup. They need to be on goal-scoring form today.
Yeah, I get the feeling the first 15 minutes of this game could be crucial for Inter Miami. They have to stay compact. PSG are going to enjoy a lot of possession, but they've got to stay in their shape.
Well, it was all smiles from the group stage for PSG until they ran into the Brazilian side in Botafogo. They beat them 1-0. Here's a chance to break early doors for Inter Miami. You can certainly hear the American crowd backing the Herons. Clever idea from Allende. Didn't come so much at all. Here's Fabian Ruiz now driving forward for PSG. Not the best of touches from Jordi Alba. His first start back in the side since May, where he picked up an injury. Fabian Ruiz. Idea was there, couldn't get past fellow Spaniard in Sergio Busquets.
Well, the hardest thing for Falcone, who's a defender that likes to get touch tight, and Noah Allen, is PSG having no real centre forwards. They'll all rotate their position, so trying to keep an eye on a front three that's very fluid is going to be really difficult. So they've got to stay in that shape and almost ignore the runners that's going to be in and around them. They've got to stay in their positions.
Mendes punches that into Desiree Doué. Kvaratskhelia still goes on his own, cuts it back to Barcola. And already Oscar Ustari called into action just 3 minutes into this one.
There's the magic of Kvaratskhelia. Playing up plays on that left-hand side. He's got loads of pace, he's got loads of tricks. He can drop inside onto his right foot or go on the outside. It was brilliant skill. They just couldn't finish the move off.
Desiree Doué. It's a free kick for PSG in quite a dangerous area, and already you can see 4 minutes in what the French champions' plan is.
It's just got to survive. They have to survive the first 15 minutes. There's always levels in professional sport, and this is another level list for Inter Miami to take on PSG.
Well, it's Luis Enrique's traditional 4-3-3 that he's implemented across multiple sides he's been at. I wonder how he's feeling today. Because 4 of his former players are on the pitch in front of him. He did manage, in fact, Javier Mascherano as well in that 2017 reign when he led Barcelona. Messi, Suarez, Alba, Busquets and Mascherano are all in that side. I wonder how much they've been able to take from that into planning for this game. Looks like Vitinha to deliver this one for PSG. Vitinha goes in towards the back post! And it's the Parisians that lead in just 5 minutes. And it's the youngster João Neves that's got it.
It's a brilliant free kick, but he's completely unmarked. João Neves, the smallest player on the pitch, and he's well onside. Comfortable header. Brilliant ball in from Vitinha. But in truth, he has to be marked. That comes down to the preparation before the game to allow João Neves to make that move and that run around the far post. Mustari really has absolutely no chance at this point, and that is the dream start for PSG. Nightmare for Inter Miami.
Well, in his first season in PSG colours, it has been the season to remember for the 20-year-old. His first goal in quite some time for the Parisians. We said the first 15 minutes was going to be key in this game. His last goal was back in March against St Etienne in the league. And it just goes to show the depth of this Paris Saint-Germain side that have got goal scorers everywhere. What's even more interesting is they came into this FIFA Club World Cup without Ousmane Dembele. We know he's on the bench today, but hasn't featured since the Champions League final. Who was going to be their goal scorer? But you just look across the pitch, Don, and there are talented individuals everywhere.
Oh, that's what I mentioned before. You're looking at a team, arguably, who've got one of the 6 or 7 best players in the world. So trying to strengthen this team on top of brilliant young players is nigh impossible. But you're looking at a coach now in Luis Enrique, who's playing, I think, a different brand of football that we've seen in the last 18 months. Has been very much possession-based and a slower tempo, not when you watch PSG. That's why they won the Champions League, the Bundesliga, Coupe de France, the French Super Cup. Historical quadruple last season. Problem solving now for Mascherano.
To the Messi fans that came in their numbers, it's not been the start they would have wanted to see for Inter Miami. Just 5 minutes in, João Neves. He picks this one up again to kick off another attack for PSG.
Oh, Brandon, Inter Miami have to be careful this doesn't get ugly. It's all one-way traffic at the moment.
Fabian Ruiz. Time for Vitinha. The interchange with Barcola, who so often has been the provider for PSG this year. There's a chance to break away now for Inter Miami.
I mean, stunning football from PSG. They're carving and cutting Inter Miami to shreds. And they've got the head down looking for more goals. This is what I mean about a PSG side evolving the game. They're not just happy with possession and having a 1-0 lead. They will go for as many goals as possible tonight.
Keep a close eye on him. Number 17 of Paris Saint-Germain, Vitinha.
I'm going to say which one. Keep an eye on which one.
There's quite a few runners, isn't there, in the midfield through? It's such a unconventional 4-3-3 that they normally sit in. I know they're sitting just off that in more of a 4-1-2-3 tonight.
Well, Kvaratskhelia got loads of room down the left-hand side.
But it's the movements between Doué, Barcola, Kvaratskhelia.
I mean, they're absolutely suffocating Inter Miami with possession and movement. And keep an eye on the fullback, Cello. He's just left one on Kvaratskhelia, and he is that type of fullback. He likes to get tight, likes to be aggressive,
He's still on the ground, Kvaratskhelia, and eventually, referee for today, the Brazilian, Wilton Sampaio.
Yeah, he's just having a word.
Go and see exactly what happened there.
No, he slaps him across the face. It's not the end of the world, but can't raise your hands in the modern game. But if I was Ivica Kvaratskhelia, I'd take that as a compliment, because he knows he's got the fullback now. Knows he has him. One more tackle from Cello and he'd probably get a yellow card. Another player that's coming off a historical season, Kvaratskhelia. Won the treble in France and won the title with Napoli.
I was going to ask you about that. Does it count still?
Yeah, absolutely, because he moved in the January window. So technically, yeah.
Did play 19 games that season for Napoli. Jumped ships for 58 million euros.
I mean, that is
January.
cheap.
How good has he been?
That is cheap. 58 million for a player the quality of Kvaratskhelia at 24, with the ability that he's got right here, right now, and the potential.
And here he is now. He was the first ever player from Georgia to score in a Champions League final in that 5-0 win.
Need at least 30 seconds or a minute in possession into Miami, just to try and find their feet and find some sort of confidence.
There's Luis Suarez, one of his first touches of the game. He was so influential against Palmeiras.
Yeah, tactically as well, it's hard for Inter Miami to try and get out, because they're obviously not the quickest anymore, Suarez and Messi, so you can't just, as a wide player or a midfield player, flip the ball over the top, because they won't get there. So you have to be really precise in your passing.
Well, 5 out of the 11 players are over 36 years of age in this Inter Miami side. There's a lot of responsibility on the younger legs, so to speak. The responsibility of Redondo in that midfield. Segovia, Tadao Ende.
You can see already tactically Barcola and Kvaratskhelia staying really wide.
It's a clever pass into the feet of Barcola. Now Allen will come across. And eventually we'll go up for a goal kick for Inter Miami. Well, there's the goal again.
And it's a brilliant free kick. But you have to say, the marking was terrible to allow João Neves a tap-in header from a couple of yards.
And there's the magic man, Lionel Messi. Plays such a unique position, this 4-4-2. Just plays his own position, to be honest, as expected.
As I said, he's like a grandmaster. Playing a chess game with Messi, because he finds the space. He's got all the knowledge in the world. But can they get him the ball?
Nuno Mendes, what a season he's had to remember. The club and country as well, the Nations League win. That pass, not so good.
We've got an amazing vantage point of how PSG operate when they've got the ball, and Hakimi is so high on the right-hand side, and Barcola, so it's almost like the left-back and the left-sided centre-back are just checking their shoulders every couple of seconds to see where they are.
Now, one thing you do not want to do is give that three in the middle there freedom to dictate how they want to play. We've seen so many times João Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, just get the ball and drive. That's how they were so deadly against Inter. They couldn't really cope with the onslaught.
What a pass.
Fabian Ruiz. Is there an option to cut it back instead? Now we'll go for a corner.
Yeah, tactically they kept the ball, PSG, down the right-hand side, but the switch of play right to Kvaratskhelia was always on. Beautiful pass from him on the outside the right foot.
Well, they've already scored from one set piece before, PSG. Two hands between Redondo and Ruiz. Doué to deliver. Barcola back over! And offside. Fabian Ruiz very nearly gave Bradley Barcola his 20th assist of the season.
Yeah, he was a couple of yards offside, but interesting before that corner came in. As we look now at PSG just operating that static press, going to try and close down into Miami, stop them playing a little clip ball into Suarez's chest. This is where they're struggling to get out into Miami.
You see how high Hakimi is.
It feels like I'm watching a Inter Miami side before the game. They haven't done their homework, because even before that corner came in, no one was marking Barcola at the far post, and at the very last second they had to try and readjust, and Noah Allen sprinted out towards him to try and mark him.
Suarez is knocked down, doesn't find the feet of Segovia, and again PSG will just continue to dominate this as they have in the first 15 minutes. Keep in mind that the winner of this game will play Bayern Munich or Brazilian side Flamengo. They play a little bit later on today from the Hard Rock Stadium, the home of Inter Miami at the moment.
Oh, 16 minutes into the game and Donnarumma hasn't had a touch.
Doué finds Ruiz. Can he find the all-important cut-back cross? He can't. He falls to the ground and give Inter Miami a chance to restart from a goal kick.
Now, this is a masterclass from Luis Enrique in terms of how many players are ahead of the football, pinning Inter Miami back.
Well, there's the replay again. You can clearly see how offside Fabian Ruiz was.
And also it gives a chance to Pacho and Marquinhos. If they want to go tight on Suarez and Messi, they can, because they're not going to get outrun.
This isn't a good sign if Noah Allen is down, holding what looks to be his hamstring.
Well, if he is struggling, I would imagine the youngster Avilés would probably come into that position. He was a player, ironically, I mentioned in the first game against Al Ahly that they drew 0-0. They should have been 4-0 down into Miami inside half an hour. And Avilés should have been sent off. So they changed him at half-time and they were better for it in the second half into Miami. The only comfort I can give Inter Miami fans is 17 minutes in, it's only 1-0.
What they've seen at the moment, Don, they might not feel so comfortable because it's been all PSG at the moment. It looks like that's going to be the change. It will be the Argentine Thomas Avilés to come on. Now Allen's played every minute so far of the FIFA Club World Cup. He'll be gutted to be leaving the pitch now, just 80 minutes into no doubt the biggest match of the competition they've had so far.
And that has been the feature of how Inter Miami have coped in this competition. The youngsters have done a lot of running for the likes of Suarez and Messi and Busquets. Busquets showed his class in the first 3 games in terms of never really give the ball away. He played the game at his own pace. He slowed everything down when needed.
Well, surprisingly, Avilés, who didn't start this game, he played 90 minutes against Palmeiras, now does get introduced via an injury to Noah Allen. And there's his first touch of the game so far for Donnarumma.
It's difficult for Inter Miami, but they have to try and press higher up the pitch. I know it's against the grain because of their age, but they have to find some territory in this game.
Well,
there's his first touch.
He's just got a yellow card there, Don.
Yeah, first touch. Honestly, he's that sort of player. He loves a tackle, and it was mistimed.
Well, guess what? Because of that yellow card, if Inter Miami were to win this game, he will miss the quarter-final. That's his second yellow in the FIFA Club World Cup.
Well, the first thing his teammate Falcone has to do is make sure you have a word with Thomas Abalez. Tell him to try and find some sort of composure. Well, the last thing Inter Miami need if they went down to 10. Kvaratskhelia has the outball, left-hand side.
Every time he's got a run, hasn't it? Desiree Doué finds Barcola. Barcola, four-man delivering. Instead goes back to Ruiz, who's clever with the little chip over the top. Barcola into Hakimi, that deflected by Falcone and away for a corner. He's relentless from the Parisians.
They just have that ability to take the extra pass, PSG. When many teams would work a scenario where you get it wide, many teams would put the ball in the box. They've got this beautiful ability to take a couple of extra passes and find the right one.
Do it. End of the way there, but Busquets' shot comes in.
There's an offside from Pacho, who just had a little flick at the ball there, so that was a good spot by the linesman on this side. Trying to work a short corner.
It looks like it was Doué, in fact, when he picked the ball back up from the 1-2 from that corner. Barcola's slightly late on that one, Ustari. As Wilton, Sampaio go over and have a little chat.
Yeah, nothing much Barcola could have done. That's a classic example of a goalkeeper clearing his lines, and it's his own follow-through. That's caught Barcola.
Such an interesting one, isn't it, PSG, Don, in terms of their striker situation. We know Kolo Muani's on loan at Juventus at the moment, obviously featuring in this FIFA Club World Cup. And as much as Gonzalo Ramos has been on the bench, the youngster of Portugal, they've played a whole season, really, without that number 9. You thought after Mbappe left, he had the top goal-scoring record for the last 6 seasons. Who was going to fill that void? They spent big. They spent over 200 million euros in the summer. And then you look back on what they've done this year. They've been able to find goal scorers from all different angles of the pitch and youngsters that have flourished. As PSG look to find even more breathing room in Inter Miami's box. We'll speak more about that as this chance comes in. This time, Doué. Kvaratskhelia just dropping inside ever so slightly. João Neves, the goal scorer, just after 5 minutes in this one. Vitinha, reverse pass. Controlled nicely by Doué. Shot comes in! It's just wide on the right-hand post. Kvaratskhelia, Kvaratskhelia, just sending another warning shot towards Oscar Ustari's goal, and he was so close to finding that right bottom corner.
Well, that'd be a brilliant angle of the attempted finish from Kvaratskhelia, and he's not far away, only half a yard away from making it 2. But you're watching a PSG team now that are an absolute team. They're not full of Galacticos. Then that experiment failed with Neymar, Messi and Mbappe. They look pretty good, but they couldn't go through the work to try and make themselves into a team. Now you're looking at a proper team.
Kvaratskhelia is twisting Wagan into all different situations on that right-hand side. Doué goes down to ground. Nothing wrong with that one, says the referee. Advantage is played as Lionel Messi. An attempt to bring Inter Miami forward. Segovia finds the feet of the Ende. Now we will go for an Inter Miami throw, and it's the best passage of play they've had in this opening 25 minutes. This is where they can be dangerous. Look at this, it's a 5-on-4 if they can move it quick enough. Kvaratskhelia. There's another free kick for PSG. Well, this is where they scored near enough their first goal from, Don.
Well, this time Falcone's going to try and mark João Neves at the far post.
Not a free kick.
As I said before, for that opening goal, it felt as though they were underprepared. So now they've got to check their shoulders, find a blue shirt and get touch tight.
Here we go. Here we go.
He's going to make a similar move, you know. João Neves is completely unmarked.
Ready for the first goal. Hakimi. There we go.
Touches that one into Vitinha. Nuno Mendes will be the one to hit it as...
Not this time.
Rockets off the body.
I'm surprised that Vitinha didn't spot João Neves as he did in the first 6 minutes of the game, because Neves was on again from that free kick.
Pacho and Marquinhos getting their first couple of chances of this half. In all honesty, they haven't had a great deal of pressure to deal with from Inter Miami.
So that passage there, Doué went to the left-hand side and Kvaratskhelia was the false nine. Rotation's incredible.
They could be out of position. Nuno Mendes could be out here if they can make the most of this one. He's got Segovia in support. Luis Suarez is making his run, but ever so delayed. And in the end, there wasn't enough on that, as Donnarumma will just claim it.
Yeah, they're surviving on half moments into Miami when they go forward. Messi starts the move and they need Allende to use his legs on that right-hand side to try and get in behind Nuno Mendes, which is difficult. Switch of play is on every time this ball.
Skelia.
Oh!
Going down to ground for a second. He looked like he was clipped. He stayed on his feet. And in the process has won a corner.
Well, every time he gets it, he's got Cello 1v1 inside the 18-yard box and he can't touch him, otherwise he gives a penalty away. He's got the fullback on absolute toast.
Another corner.
Lofted him all the way past every PSG player. Not great.
Inter Miami might have to try and play for a little bit of time. Lost a goal inside 6 minutes. That wasn't the plan. Now they try and get to half an hour, as you see the referee's angle of the skill and the movement from Kvaratskhelia. But can Inter Miami get to 30 minutes? And the target after that will be half time.
Jordi Alba back in the team after a hamstring injury in the league. In the last two group games before this, came on as a sub just to shore things up. I mean, saying that, Inter Miami threw a 2-0 lead in under 20 minutes against Palmeiras just a few days ago.
Yes,
they are showing the future of football, though, PSG. Think of a couple of sides. Newcastle do it at St James's Park, Liverpool
even when they lose the ball,
do it at Anfield, but PSG, this is going to be how the game's going to evolve. I get the feeling over the next couple of years it won't be a slow-paced, possession-based game.
Look at that.
You get wide men on the ball, show you tricks.
Look at this, oh my days.
Barcola, Hakimi, he'll then drive it in. Defended as far as João Neves.
Look at the switches, man. The switch of plays, crazy. Oh
Clever
my
turn by
days.
Nuno Mendes.
A 360.
Will interchange with his opposite
Hakimi.
fullback in Hakimi.
Oh, shot.
Can Inter Miami get out from this position?
See how deep Luis Suarez had to come there. Deeper in the midfield line just to try and get some involvement. Seems like whatever game plan they've had coming into this, Don, it hasn't even been able to start, let alone work.
Well, it was never really going to work in terms of the outlet from Luis Suarez or Messi running in behind Marquinhos or Pacho, so they had to find a different way. So early on in the game, when you're 1-0 down, it's just about buying a little bit of time, buying 1 or 2 free kicks to try and get up the pitch, because PSG are closing them down so well.
Maxi Falcone, Fabio Ruiz! Clever! Little dummy there from Douay.
From one of the most underrated midfield, I think, in European football, Fabio Ruiz taking that shot on.
Wow.
Just couldn't get over the top of the ball to keep it under the crossbar. He went for the right technique.
He's got quite the start, Fabio Ruiz. Every time that he has started in this PSG team, he went on a 51-game win streak in the French League One. Which just goes to show how important he is when he starts. Not just the only former Napoli player in this team.
Anything from Luis Suarez there on Marquinhos. A little tap on the back of the head. Kvaratskhelia so wide.
You wouldn't believe 7 years between those two, and Marquinhos, who just come off the back of his 10th French league title win. Approaching 500 appearances as well for Paris Saint-Germain. A touch by Hakimi. You just saw there the 4 midfielders in the Inter Miami lineup were just sitting back and giving that freedom.
That's part of their game plan. I said before about a rigid 4-4-2. The 2 wide players have to come in and tuck inside
Messi.
and get close to Redondo and Busquets. If they don't, the 2 midfield players, the Inter Miami, are going to be coming up against PSG's 3. And that will mean a lot of running and a lot of chasing.
Well, Busquets has probably had to
Nice
move the
clip on
most
the back into Miami.
in this first 32 minutes that he has
Wow.
throughout the group stages. Another off the ball clash there by
I think we've got head injury there.
and Pacho.
Fascinating side, PSG. The way you watch them, there's so many players to fall in love with. Got 3 top-class midfield players, probably the 2 best left-backs in world football. All the excitement at the top end of the pitch. Take your pick.
Well, that good PSG, weren't they? They won the league with 6 games to go. Season usually finishes in late May. Their season was done by early April. Is he onside? Nuno Mendes! Off the line, just about. There is the offside flag that eventually does come in.
How do you try and legislate, if you're Avilés or Falcone, how do you try and legislate for a left-back being in a false 9 position?
I think that's a question that quite a few people might not have the answer for.
Inter Miami can't keep the ball. They can't seem to be able to keep the ball at all.
How on earth has Nuno Mendes ended up in that position?
That is Luis
It's almost
Enrique
like
giving
watching
all the players on the pitch within the
Liverpool
formation to play with freedom.
a smaller team.
Go and express yourself.
Or a pub team.
It's what players want to do. within that structure, you have to allow them to play. But how you mark them, I've got no idea.
PSG just having their own way. They've made 4 times the amount of passes already in this game that Inter Miami have. That just shows how much more they've had the ball. 70% possession, sorry. And countless moments like this as PSG win another corner.
Just got to stay in the game. They've just got to survive. Inter Miami. Survival mode, that's all it is. It's organisation, it's communication. And this is where you need your leaders on the pitch to try and guide Inter Miami into a 1-0 loss at half-time, and try and allow your coach Mascherano to deliver a team talk, try and get yourself back in the game. They can't afford to go 2-0 down.
The second oldest player in the team there, Luis Suarez. Having a few words with the key man. You mentioned about the experienced heads in this team. He's one of them. Robert Skelly down to ground there. He believes that.
It's Cello again. Can't quite see if there's any contact on the ankle or not. Definitely nothing around the waist.
He's already given the Argentine defender quite the afternoon. In Cello Wagan, his individual battles against Kvaratskhelia has not been an enjoyable first half, no doubt.
Again, if you're Kvaratskhelia, take it as a compliment. Cello can't deal with him.
Desiree Doué to eventually deliver this corner in for PSG. Kyrgios on foul code, and it will be Inter Miami to win a free kick. While we have a minute in play here, Don, we spoke about PSG, of course, dominating this game, and you said about riding those moments of pressure. But then when do Inter Miami get that chance to break away? Is it winning a corner and getting a piece of luck? Is it maybe picking up a Nuno Mendes out of position and then getting Allende across on that far-hand side?
Yeah, it's a very good question. First of all, they need the ball into Suarez and Messi's feet. That's the first and foremost what you have to do as a midfield player. And then you can try and get territory. Then you can try and get your fullbacks a bit higher up the pitch. But at the same time, when you're playing up against a machine like PSG, when you're doing so much running, it's tired minds in the end. You can then give the ball away. I think it's fair to say Cello had this coming from Kvaratskhelia. Bit of payback.
I'm sure this is just the start of it. Yeah, Mascherano, no doubt, will not be happy with what he's seen from his side in the first 38 minutes. Well, if you are enjoying the FIFA Club World Cup coverage on the Zonas, PSG look to open up here. Fabio Ruiz into João Neves.
Bro, they walked in.
The Parisians.
That is this is embarrassing. They walked the ball into the net.
He could have been a selfish Fabio Ruiz,
Wow.
but he wasn't for his teammate. Look at the pressure, the hunting mentality from the Parisians. They've been ruthless so far. Just onside is the Spaniard.
Wow.
And it was all about that killer pass into João Neves, who's just bagged a brace in the FIFA Club World Cup.
And that was my point earlier about players just playing the extra pass. Many players, if you're in Fabian Ruiz's position, would have took that shot on, but he done the right thing. Simple 5-yard pass into João Neves.
Ball.
He makes it 2, and now into Miami, now in a world of trouble. Again, though, it come from that high PSG press, making Inter Miami make mistakes. And that's what I said before about managing a game. You've just got to keep it at 1. If you're getting destroyed, so what? Keep it at 1. Get to half-time. They've lost another one.
Well, coming into this game, he only scored 5 goals in total since his arrival from Benfica in the summer of last year. Just under 40 minutes, he's already bagged a brace. First time he has scored 2 in one game for PSG.
It's a lovely team goal. I mean, they win the ball back high up the pitch. Barcola finds the right pass into Fabio Ruiz, and he finds his teammate. The tap-in finish. Trouble.
Free kick to PSG. And again, it's Cello Wagan again involved.
And that in itself is a dilemma. If you're Inter Miami now and you try and commit and offload midfield players forward, if you give the ball away or PSG break with so much speed, they can hit you on the counter.
The first goal in this game would have really dictated the pace and the tempo and the direction of it. As soon as PSG got in, just 5 minutes. Alongside them having.
It's amazing to see where this PSG team has come from since the nightmare performance up at St James's Park against Newcastle in the Champions League, when they absolutely tore them to shreds. And they've kicked on so much since then.
Well, they had quite a record as well this year, PSG. They were 39 games unbeaten away on the road. It's the best record in the top 5 leagues in Europe. On top of that, they had a 32 unbeaten league run in all games. They've been so dominant this year in France and in Europe.
And they're off again.
And here comes more PSG
PSG
pressure.
Got to be a yellow for Cello, surely. It's about his 5th, 6th tackle in the game.
Nuno Mendes, he was away.
Probably the only way you can stop him, by fouling him, because he's never going to catch him. But that's 2 of the back 4 now for Inter Miami on yellow cards. Cello and Avilés.
Not good as well, because Thomas Alaves will miss the next round if they were to have turned this game around. Doesn't look likely from what we've seen in this first half so far. Inter Miami yet to have a single shot in this game. Vitinha switches out wide into Kiwi. He's onside. Every time they try and defend Inter Miami.
I've been involved in these sort of games as well, when you're trying to chase down an opposition and they're far superior, and you get it at half-time and you check your shoulders to your teammates, you think, what's just gone on there? Just been ran ragged for 45 minutes.
There's the overlap. Doué whips it across. And it goes from bad to worse.
Wow.
For Inter Miami.
Wow.
As much as Fabio Ruiz want to take the goal.
It's not looking good, bro.
No, he wasn't. It was the second phase of play, so he's
It's not
onside.
looking good. It's not looking good. It's not
And
looking
again,
good.
the marking, 2 centre-backs are not checking their shoulders. They don't spot Fabian Ruiz. It might be an own goal in the end.
Looks if it will go down as an own goal.
Nevertheless,
it's 3-0.
Substitution appearance to forget at the moment for the Argentine. Thomas Alaves booked 30 seconds after being introduced. He's missing the next game, but there won't be a next game because he's just scored an own goal and his team are now 3-0 down against the champions of Europe. Three minutes of added time. As we come to the closing stage of this first half, Don, thoughts on the half so far? It's just been one-way traffic.
I've played in them, Brandon, honestly. I've played in these sort of games, winning and losing, and when you're losing them, it's absolutely demoralising. As I said, the players for Inter Miami, they'll go in at half-time, they'll be checking their shoulders, they'll be saying to the teammates, what just happened there? And you half know in your heart of hearts, you've got no chance of coming back against this team. So now you're playing for pride.
Now that's Scalia.
First and foremost, Mascherano will be saying to his players, keep your discipline, can't go down to 10. Otherwise, it could be any sort of number PSG rack up. It's that if only. It's that if only they could have kept it to 1.
Been able to enter PSG's box, let alone have a shot at goal.
And there's no shame for Inter Miami when they come up against the team off the
Miami,
quadruple
their
last season,
centre-backs
who I
not
think is the
checking
best team
anything.
in Europe by far.
They're just there, they're just floating.
The most skillful, the most functional team.
It looks like they're just floating. They're not checking for any, checking their shoulders,
PSG
checking
now
their
at this
back.
point are just in
To
cruise
see who's
control.
there, what's there.
They can do whatever they want to this game. They can keep it at 3 and have total domination and possession. I don't think they'll play like that. I think they'll play for more goals second half.
Well, we have seen big scorelines in the FIFA Club World Cup. I don't think we'll see it to that extent of Bayern Munich against Auckland, which was a 10-0 result. Coming into this one, PSG only scored 6 in the group stages. And they did go a game goalless, that 1-0 defeat against the Brazilians, Botafogo. They did beat Seattle 2-0 and Atletico Madrid 4. Here's Barcola. Hakimi off the bar.
Over.
The rebound falls back the Moroccans' way.
Over.
Look at the movement. Barcola, bottom right-hand side of the screen. He's well onside. Jordi Alba nowhere near spotting the run of the youngster. And then you're just relying on luck if you can try and survive, or can Astari find a save? He can't.
Achraf Hakimi, 2 goals in 2 games in the FIFA Club World Cup. The first deflection and save was nearly a moment of brilliance.
Hakimi is such a baller.
And it just fell straight back to the path of the Moroccan defender.
In the space of about 6-7 minutes, from being 1-0, it's now 4.
And that's as the half-time whistle blows. They'll shake hands. Probably even more so now as he's just got himself on the score sheet. But the halfway point here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
Bro, Hakimi is such a baller. PSG, this team is scary. I wouldn't want to play this team or my team to play them at all. From the keeper to the non-strikers, they don't play with any strikers, but anyone can score a goal. How? How is that possible? Anyone can score a goal. What is going on? What is going on? This game, right? It could end. We could get more goals here than the Bayern Munich game, which is PSG. They're not gonna let up. They're trying to embarrass Messi. This is what they're doing now because Messi left them the way he did. They're not happy with it. So now the owners probably told them, asked them, beat the shit out of this team. You know, scary man, scary out. How is this possible? This team, they don't play with no striker. No striker. They don't play with any striker at all. How is it possible to just this everyone anyone can score? Hakimi 2 goals now. He's scored in the Champions League finals. It's a big game player, Hakimi. Massive, massive. But if you're watching, please drop us a like, thumbs up, subscribe, you know, so we can see more of these games moving forward. Please subscribe. Please stop. You know, share the live, share the stream. More people can join us. Thumbs up, please. Thumbs up. Double tap. We'll be back shortly. It's half time now.
My word, John Obi Mikel and Julian Laurence. Not much time to chat because we've got a lot of goals to show you. Let's start off with a free kick from Vitinha, which sees Inter Miami go to sleep a little bit, John.
Yeah, I know. I mean, far post there was no one picking him up. João Neves with a brilliant header. I don't know why no one was picking him up there because you can see it's free there. Sometimes players don't see this, but yeah, 1-0.
They say nevers again, but he scored the second
nevers
one.
Again, exactly. Fabian Ruiz pressing and getting the ball off Busquets of all people, and then Barcola, Ruiz again, Neves, just beautiful. The press is great, but even the finish, the movement, all together in unison. Is that what we say in English?
Beautifully
Unison.
said, Jules. First time he's ever scored 2 goals in a game
in his senior career. 2 goals so far, I should stress, the way that first half has gone. 3-0 then, and this is a bad game getting even worse for Thomas Alvilés.
Yeah, bad game here. Another cross from Doe here. I mean, he couldn't see it. I think it was too late for him to say it. Came too quick for him. And, yeah, deflection on goal.
And then 4-0, it's that man, Achraf Hakimi again. This is his 11th goal of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the ball from Vitinha to Barcola. And then what Luis Enrique has done with Achraf Hakimi is just incredible how much he's improved, how he can play in a very different way as a right back if you want than he used to. Fantastic what he's done this season.
Just the 4 goals so far, and there were elements of that first half that reminded you of, say, Bayern Munich against Auckland City. You wonder, could they go for a similar kind of scoreline? They certainly had a lot of other chances in that first half.
Yeah, someone is happy. Jules is happy.
Yes.
Listen, I think at the end of the day, we can talk about stats and possession and everything. I think the question here today, what we've seen today, is the pace, power, agility, class, technique that PSG have. There is no way this Inter Miami side can match them. And that, for me, is the difference today. The class is there, the quality is there, and that's been the difference.
Jules, this is going to continue in the second half, or will PSG take the foot off the gas?
Yeah, I wonder if they might control a little bit more. As we said, there's a lot of people who know each other very well on both camps. I don't know if Luis Enrique is a big fan of running down the score, for example, but I mean, Inter Miami, I haven't touched the ball in the PSG box in that first half. They were nowhere near even having a shot. They have no shot so far in this game. 0 expected goals. And I think PSG can easily control that second half and see the game out.
Yeah, but to get into PSG's box, you need pace, you need power, you need people to run past people. They can't do that.
I can't believe they played 4-4-2 against a team like PSG, though, with Suarez and Messi up front.
Right.
It should have been a backfire.
That's
easily.
the first mention of Suarez, perhaps, since kickoff, because rather than Miami, he's been MIA in that first half. No one's been able to get the ball to him. He's not been able to do anything. That's one of the issues for Mascherano to address then, perhaps, in his half-time team talk. We have another 45 minutes, at least, if Inter Miami can turn this around, of this last 16 clash coming up from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Stay with us.
Too scary for this team. I can't see them. No way. I don't think PSG will even score a goal. They'll only allow it out of respect for Messi. You know, PSG players might go, you know what, let's let them score 1 or 2 goals, and then we go ahead and score 10 more. You know, that's what's going to happen here. I can't see them scoring anything at all against this team because they've not got the legs. You know, they've not got the legs. Suarez has not got the legs. Messi is technically so good, but again, he's not got the legs to run past that midfield, the defenders, or Jordi Alba is nowhere near, you know, marking anyone. The goal for Hakimi, Alba was just stood there, he couldn't do anything, and so I can't see them scoring a goal against PSG. This is a Miami team. The legs are gone. They've not got the legs to even match them, man to man. They've not got it. It will be a shame to see Messi go out like this. But again, the owner will be smiling. The PSG owner will be smiling with the way Messi treated them, with the way Messi left the team. You know, the owner will be laughing at Messi because he left with no, he didn't give them any respect. Anyway, I'm wearing Inter Miami shirt because somebody gave it to me. But yeah, you know, just in support of David Beckham, really, to be honest with you. But my son loves Hakimi. He's watching it upstairs. He's loving it because Hakimi scored. But yeah, it's just a joy to watch them. I'm privileged to be here to be alive to be able to see a team surpass teams like Barcelona. They play better than Barcelona football. The Pep era. I think this is what Alonso is talking about the Real Madrid team. Everyone needs to press. Everyone needs to come back. But they're not playing. PSG are not playing a 3-4-3. 3-5-3 or 3-4-2, whatever you want to call it. They're not playing that. They're playing exactly their own game. I don't know if that's what Amorim is trying to do as well at United. But the three defenders at the back will not work. And even PSG playing four at the back. And you can see how they deal with this, any team they come across. Due, Bacola, their main man is not even playing today. I think he's on the bench. Dembele, I think he's on the bench. I'm losing my stream. I've lost my stream, I think. Be right back. There we go.
Stopped Inter Miami from having a single shot on goal and a single touch in their defensive area. That's how good they've been. Myself, Brandon Smith and Don Hutchinson have got the pleasure of guiding you through this second half of the round of 16 game live from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But as we were speaking in the breakdown, for PSG, this could, I mean, for Inter Miami, sorry, this could get ugly. This could be 4, 5, 6 or even 7.
Well, that's a difficult team talk now for Javier Mascherano to navigate at half-time. He knows the scoreline. He'll know in his heart of hearts there's no way back now for Inter Miami. So does he change the shape, go away from a 4-4-2? Otherwise, you could be looking at any sort of number. If PSG are in the mood, which I think they will be second half, because this is football from the gods. This is as pure as it gets. They've been so good, they could rack up 7 or 8.
Well, he's had quite a quiet day so far, Lionel Messi. He was the star of the show, and rightly so, in their 2-1 win against Porto 10 days ago on this very pitch. In that first half, Don, he didn't really have anything to smile about, let alone have the ball.
I'll tell you what encapsulates PSG, though. They've scored 4 goals, 1 from a full-back, 1 on goal, and 2 from a midfield player. So we talk about their quality as they're going to make a change or a couple of changes at half-time, and he's quite right in doing that, Luis Enrique. Protect some of the players. Marquinhos, the skipper, will be one of them. And now this is the perfect night to give other players minutes in the game.
It's Lucas Beraldo that comes onto the pitch, and the youngest player to ever play for PSG in their first team in Zaire Emery. The French midfielder, he comes on for Fabian Ruiz, who came close to scoring in that first half, but was more of a provider to João Neves for that second goal. We expected to see changes from PSG, and rightly so. They've got 1 foot, near enough 2 feet, in the quarter-finals.
I mean, just the talent of Warren Zaire Emery on the pitch now for PSG. Amazing young player. A perfect night for Luis Enrique. Might just see Ousmane Dembele come on for 5-10 minutes just to stretch his legs if he's fit enough. But therein lies the problem. We talk about their quality in midfield and 2 brilliant fullbacks and the rotation at the top end of the pitch, but it's midfield players and fullbacks that are on the score sheet.
That's PSG's lineup. As you saw, Lucas Beraldo comes in. Vitinha will still just sit a little bit deeper than Zaire Emery and João Neves, the 2 youngsters. And it's that front three that will look to cause more trouble. Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué and Barcola. The opposite side for Inter Miami, Ustari. He's had a busy first 45 minutes. Thomas Alvarez, yellow card and scored an own goal in the first half. Between Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi, 31 touches we recorded at half-time done between the 2 of them, and they haven't had a single touch in PSG's box.
No, every day's a school day, and this is certainly one for Mascherano coming into this game, with a 4-4-2 system up against the way PSG rotate their players at the top end of the pitch and 3 midfield players that are extremely comfortable on the ball. Never felt right to me, that system.
I expect to see Mayulu, Gonzalo Ramos, even Mbaye coming on in this second half if PSG can find a 5th and a 6th. Maybe even Ousmane Dembele. Get some minutes in him ahead of what looks to be the next round of the FIFA Club World Cup.
I expect them to have the same approach in the second half than they had the Champions League final against Inter Milan, where you thought at any given time PSG might just rest and keep hold of the ball, but they were ruthless on that night. I think they'll do the same, or try to do the same.
Kvaratskhelia dropping just inside to the midfield.
Some serious young talent on show tonight for PSG.
Well, you were just speaking about their bench in the breakdown, about how much talent is on that bench that's ready to come on, not even naming the 2 names that we've just seen introduced. That's Mascherano's words held any value at the halfway point of how Inter Miami are going to come out and try and approach this second half. Wagan lost that one in. He wasn't looking for Lionel Messi, said. That one back to Messi. Quick pass into Luis Suarez.
Wow, Suarez.
Very nearly a moment of brilliance.
1v1.
Between the 2 oldest players on the pitch.
There's the touch of the tournament, that from Lionel Messi, I can tell you. When a ball gets driven towards you on his strong left foot, the way to pass to knock it over the defender with perfect weight and precision. It's a shame that Suarez couldn't finish the move off, because that was genius from Messi.
You heard how much the fans loved it here, didn't you?
It's the type of pass you only get with repetition and experience, where you have to practice it so many times, because it's not a ball you have to add any weight on. You try and cushion that pass. He took all the weight off the ball into Luis Suarez.
Uruguayan just couldn't handle the touch. There's Messi taking a 1 or 2 or 3. Slips over. nearly gave Paris Saint-Germain a chance to break. Redondo's got to be careful because he's nearly pickpocketed there in the middle. Redondo out of position. Emery trying to interchange with the fellow forward. Skelly was the idea, just couldn't find the weight of the pass.
See PSG now keeping a high line because they know Suarez and Messi are not going to run away from that back four.
Suarez bagged a goal just on Monday night at the Hard Rock Stadium. Put his side 2-0 up. Lionel Messi connecting all the pieces together. Finds Jordi Alba. Back to Messi. His shot deflected and we'll play a corner.
Another beautiful pass from Messi into the stride of Jordi Alba. This is probably the only way Inter Miami could have beaten PSG, but they should have done this from minute one. Tried to knock PSG out of their rhythm and out of their stride.
Segovia will play short. That's going to find the feet of Lionel Messi on the edge of the box. He's got two Paris players chasing him down. And then an offside.
Look at this weighted pass, just cushioned that right over the top. Shame that Suarez couldn't take one touch and tried to finish it, but brilliant ball over the top of Beraldo. This is the one way he's got three PSG players around him. He just slips at the last second, Messi.
Well, it's the first time that he's had to play against a former club. Obviously played for PSG 75 times. Won the league in both of those 2 seasons, but nothing much more than that in terms of outside of France. Mendes tries to play that one long as Starry comes out and clears.
Good goalkeeping that from Astari because he recognised that. Avilés, the centre-back, was in a little bit of trouble.
It's quite a long throw, isn't it? From Nuno Mendes as Emery will foul Maxi Falcone. Not so good from Busquets. It falls back to another Paris Saint-Germain shirt again. João Neves already scored a brace in this game, a career first for the 20-year-old. Chance to break away. To give in to Miami. One of their first real proper chances at goal. Redondo still. Not the best way to pass is to Segovia.
Terrible ball. He had Segovia away to his left-hand side for about 10-15 seconds. He should have fed him earlier.
It's one of those two, Dom, because you're not going to get Luis Suarez chasing down PSG's defence. He has to be tactical in how he reserves his energy and how he plays his game now as a number 9. Saw a perfect example of that against Palmeiras. He was more of the connector, wasn't it?
Yeah, he done that. He won loads of little flick-ons which got into Miami up the pitch. He bought a few fouls. Scored a typical Suarez goal where he got his head down, bundled away from 2 or 3 defenders and rifled it into the roof of the net. They're probing for more here, PSG. Just gone down a gear. But they've earned the right, being 4-0 up, to go down a gear or two. Very narrow, that midfield four for Inter Miami. It's putting a lot of stress on their fullbacks. Kvaratskhelia still wide left if they want to spray it out to that side. And he's got Cello on a yellow card, so I'd keep feeding him.
They had a lot of the joy, didn't they, on that left-hand side, as the ball will get switched out there now. Zaemri, Barcola, finds Desiree Doué, who provides some tidy footwork before running into an Inter Miami defender. Every time, though, it just falls back again to another PSG shirt. They've dominated possession, they've dominated the ball. And they have absolutely dominated this game.
Yeah, Messi won't be enjoying this.
Alright. Yeah? Yeah, you
That's
watch
why
it.
in this tournament before tonight they've played to Messi and Suarez's strengths by having those younger legs to run off
Watching
them
the
and do
game.
the work. It's been impossible for them tonight. Been absolutely suffocated.
What?
It's not just French players they seem to nurture at PSG, they love Portuguese players too. If you are enjoying the coverage of the FIFA
Big
Club
show
World
and then
Cup
come
on
down.
DAZN, of course there is more sport on the way, including boxing. Former world title challenger Jack Catterall will return back to the ring to take on British welterweight rival Harlem Eubank in Manchester on July 5th. It'll be live on DAZN.
Oh my god. Oh
sure you
my
get the
god.
app.
Oh my god. PSG.
Desiree
PSG.
Doué. First time he's been that selfish and had a shot at goal. We know he can score. He scored a handful of them, not just in this competition, but in that Champions League final. How good's he been since he's come over to PSG?
Amazing. Kvaratskhelia doing so much work down this left-hand side with his skill and his balance, but the younger players, sensational to watch.
Oh, what a turn from Bradley Barcola! Deserved the finish.
How about this for a little flick around the corner?
Bradley Barcola, the first time he started in this FIFA Club World Cup. Could have been PSG's fifth. Doué to deliver. And Barcola with a free header. That time over the bar and not causing any problems.
Look at that no-look pass from Vitinha right into the safe side of Barcola. That's an underrated pass that needs to be taught more in the modern game. The safe side pass where you take it away from the defender and put it on the forward strong foot.
That's an interesting one as well for Bradley Barcola. Not often a starter in this PSG side. The last time he started was in the French Cup final in May. Back 2 goals and an assist, surprise, surprise. 19 of them in total this season when it comes to assists. Another headache in terms of selection that Luis Enrique will have to have. Especially when he's got Ousmane Dembele scoring goals for fun. He is on the bench with Ousmane Dembele. Another flick on from Doué, but they will be dispossessed. Here comes Lionel Messi now, at the heart of this Inter Miami attack. Finds Suarez. Messi, can he turn and finish? Surrounded by
Messi, no
PSG
way.
shirts.
No way, move for Messi.
Just gives you an example on PSG. They're not just attacking, they don't mind defending. 3 players got really close to Messi to stop him taking that shot on, so the work they're doing off the ball is incredible.
Skelly is dispossessed and allows Inter Miami to build upon a small piece of momentum. Mr. Allende, Busquets, Messi, Suarez, the former Barcelona trio, all interchanging. Yeah, Cello right next to him there did Messi, but had no interest in passing the ball to his defender.
I can tell you that. Allende is blowing down the right-hand side. He's put a real shift in, but great to see Dembele back. See the goals going in again, and 2 for João Neves.
What a game he's had. First time in his career he scored a brace in a senior appearance. João Neves interchanges off, and on comes Ousmane Dembele. His first minutes in the FIFA Club World Cup.
Ousmane Dembele is on.
His last minutes in the PSG shirt are in the Champions League final, where he bagged 2 assists.
Imagine you 4-0 down.
He has been the star of the show amongst many stars.
Dembele. Bro, your team is finished.
This season for PSG, not the best first touch to
coming
remember.
on is Dembele. No drop off, bro. Potentially the world best player right now comes on.
Segovia somehow still in possession.
Just goes to show the strength of PSG when they're taking João Neves off, a midfield player for Ousmane Dembele. More problems now for Inter Miami.
I was going to ask you on that, Darwin. What do you think the game plan is now? Because now technically they've got 4 attackers on the field. That ball goes long, too long for Cello. Messi. Still in on Messi now. Can he get a shot away? He can. It's their first. On target.
And he's still been sharp tonight, Messi.
Please let him score 1
He's
goal.
been starved
Let Messi
of
score 1 goal.
a lot of service, really, but you can still see the sharpness in his legs when he receives the ball.
He's already had more touches in his first opening 18 minutes than he did in the first half, Lionel Messi. What's interesting, just keeping an eye on number 10, Ousmane Dembele, where he does sit now in this PSG 11.
Oh, he plays where he wants, and that's the beauty of Luis Enrique now. About half an hour to go, he'll know the game's done, so he's... Yes, there's a bit of tactical in it, but he's more or less just put more weapons on the pitch to try and score more goals and give the players the freedom, and that's what Dembele's craved over the years. See Messi still got that half a yard to shrug off Nuno Mendes and then get half a yard on Ronaldo.
They all thought that was the moment they came out to see. Another Lionel Messi goal, his first as a 38-year-old. Kvaratskhelia. He's not been afraid to do that, has he? Dropping in on that right shoulder.
Yeah, lovely skill. I thought he was going to try one more trick that he showed in the Champions League final, just there where he dragged it back away from the fullback, trying to find the stanchion.
So, Hakimi scored the goal.
Of course, keep in mind that following this one, we actually do in fact go to Miami, Hard Rock Stadium, on the DAZN app, where you can watch the FIFA Club World Cup.
This team is too good. It's just too good.
63 games from the competition. 5-minute take on Flamengo. Winner of that will play PSG by the looks of it. Allende.
Subscribe.
Off balance and off target.
Yeah, tired shot for a player that's put a lot into this game. Allende, a bit ambitious, taking the shot on the angle.
That's a legend.
High tariff effort to try and score from there against Donnarumma.
Argentine, sorry, is only on loan from Celta Vigo this year. From what we've seen of him in the FIFA Club World Cup, I wonder if there'll be a conversation to extend that. Maybe bring him in permanently.
Stretch the play so well, PSG. They move it from side to side very quickly. That demands a lot of work in that midfield for Inter Miami.
It's a lofted ball into Hakimi. What introduction that could have been from Ousmane Dembele.
Oh my God.
And he could have scored again, Hakimi. Chests it down. Mustari does really well coming off his line.
Segovia not giving up on that one and allows Inter Miami to charge forward again. Messi.
Oh my
Just short
God.
of the end, but he recovers it well.
Oh my God.
Tries to find.
Oh my God.
This is trouble now, though.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
trouble now. PSG's left side is on.
What a pass.
He went the wrong side there, Dembele.
Oh my
Apologised
God.
it. Kvaratskhelia
Oh
should have
my
went
God.
left.
Oh my God.
End-to-end stop now.
Just don't think an open 25 minutes is going to suit Inter Miami. I know they've got to throw everything at it. We do get the feeling if they commit a lot of bodies forward, PSG will then hit them on the counter. It's just that 6-minute spell before half-time that killed them, really. 1-0 down wouldn't have been the end of the world.
Messi will find the on-running Cello.
Messi.
Always seems to be the case, isn't it? Which doesn't surprise you that if you get the ball from Messi, you've got to give it back to him.
Yeah, chance now, though. Kvaratskhelia in.
Offside cries, not going to be corner pot.
Oh,
A little bit.
Kvaratskhelia saying to his midfield players, you need to pass that a bit earlier.
He's a captain, I think.
Dad, why did you do that there? How did you do that there?
Can't fault their effort into Miami. It's just always levels in professional football. This level's been too much for them.
We heard Javier Mascherano, didn't you, off the back of that Palmeiras game, as much as they did throw away a 2-0 lead. He said, look, we're putting Major League Soccer on the map. They were the record holders last year in the league. The most points accumulated in a single season. PSG.
Oh my God!
Barcola! Deflection out for a corner.
Oh, that'd been 5.
And that was a really important block that was put on. Barcola just taking the shot on. Somehow, that doesn't end up underneath the crossbar.
The players are coming on. Mendes is coming off. Fernandez. The players are coming on and going off. It's scary, this thing. Coming off as well. Hakimi is on. There's the player captain. Hakimi.
Well, double change made there. It is the left and right back that comes off, and more importantly, the goal scorer in Achraf Hakimi. You mentioned it in your words, Tom. Two best left back, right backs in world football at the moment.
Absolutely. Stand by. I don't think there's many better. One or two might put their hand up for that conversation, but I think these two guys are the best.
Quickly, he's going to find Douay. Two changes that have just come on. It is the Korean forward, Lee Kang-in, and the defensive option of Lucas Hernandez, the French defender.
Oh my God!
might just be a case of Luis Enrique going to a back three, just experimenting in the remainder of this game.
I believe he could be right. Take it what that will do though, Don. It will give PSG even more licence to free roam and cause havoc in the Inter Miami half.
They just look like the perfect team to me. Everything about them, their style, the way they play, they function really well. They don't carry any passengers anymore.
Right.
That was the main problem when they had the Galactico players. There was too many to carry.
Okay.
It has been a
We've got about
statement of a
7 minutes
season
to go.
for the French side.
Got plenty of time.
Second team to win a European Cup, following Marseille back in 1993, and then to go and win 5-0 against Inter.
And I go back to a bit when Luis Enrique was the Spanish manager, watching them in a World Cup, and they generated about 1,000 passes. Well, they bored me to tears. They just kept the ball, didn't go anywhere. It was 5-yard passes. Didn't really look like scoring. Now he's changed his whole philosophy. He's got young, exciting players, wide men that can take players on. Ballers in midfield that can handle the ball under pressure. Rapid fullbacks, experience in Marquinhos.
It looks like he's trying to get Messi to score goals, really.
I'm sure this Luis Enrique's side has not bored you this time.
Oh, absolutely not, no. Absolute change from what I saw very early on, but you can't not fall in love with this team. As I said before, the hardest thing is picking your favourite player.
Right.
Luis Dembele has been that favourite player for most this season.
Being an ex-midfield player myself, I mean, there's many players to look out for, top end of the pitch. I mentioned the fullbacks, but Vitinha, he makes the game at times look very, very easy. And Fabian Ruiz, another one, extremely underrated, who's won the lot. João Neves scored a couple of goals tonight. Three of them balance off really well.
Everyone is watching the game, listening to the game, you can show them the camera is there.
What?
Speak more people.
Yeah, how much people? How much?
Very much happy
And how much?
just to see this one through.
How many people, not how much.
PSG eyeing up Bayern Munich or Flamengo. It's the match that follows this one later on today here from America. Clever pass, finds Desiree Doué. Lee Kang in.
Oh my god.
Zaire
Oh my God.
involved. There's some
Oh my
scoring
God.
choices, aren't they? In the final third.
Oh my god.
Foul goes against Luis Suarez as he was in an aerial tussle with Pacho.
Yeah, just pure frustration. Luis Suarez, it was a foul, he jumped a little bit too early.
No, it's a foul, definitely a foul.
He got him down. And he got
We'll
him
get the
down.
yellow card for maybe a few too many words.
And that yellow was probably inevitable.
You mentioned Vitinha, 25 years of age, over 100 times he's played for this PSG side. But it feels like in his career that he's had on, this has been that moment that it's really taken off for him.
Yeah, it feels as though this is the role in the players around him that Vitinha shone in. Extremely talented.
That ball lofted into the end.
Saved by the keeper. I got shot on target there.
Two hands on it from Donnarumma. They are going through at the back. Paris Saint-Germain. There are going to be gaps that will appear and spaces for Segovia and Ende to exploit.
Well, sometimes when a scoreline is at 4 or 5, sometimes a coach likes to experiment tactically, but also he's experimenting with the players on the pitch and saying to them, see how you cope when I do something different. Dramashki coming on in midfield will provide a little bit more legs for Inter Miami.
That's out. I mean, I thought this game was going to end 10-0 or something.
Segovia off.
But PSG definitely don't see
Ben Cremassi on. A youth product of Inter Miami. Actually the youngest goal scorer of the club, scored at just 18 years of age, now 20. It's usually him or Redondo that partner alongside Sergio Busquets.
Oh my god. Yeah? Okay.
Thank you.
There he is again, Vitinha, the heart of this midfield. Finds Ousmane Dembele. Does he think about shots? No. He's offside. As we said, in just over 2 and a bit hours, Bayern Munich will be taking on Flamengo in the FIFA Club World Cup round of 16. That's live on the DAZN app, where you can watch every FIFA Club World Cup match. The winner of this game, which looks to be PSG, will be taking on the winner of that game, which will be decided a little bit later on this evening in America, down in Miami, Florida. Catch that live on the DAZN app. Marcelo Wagan, Suarez, here's the flick, but it's Lionel Messi.
Nicely done, Messi, let's go.
The punch into the path of Cremassi.
Oh, this PSG team, man, it's so hard to beat.
Lee.
So hard to beat. They don't panic. They lose the ball, they don't panic.
Cremassi normally in the centre of midfield, out on this left-hand side for the remaining 15 minutes of this round of 16 time.
Guys, you got to let Messi score.
Covered well by Busquets.
This one goal, give it to Messi.
Messi, first time. Can it find the feet of Suarez?
Brilliant defending from Beraldo. Just had an idea where Lionel Messi was going to flick this ball into the stride of Suarez, so he recognised the run. Just about done enough, just sliding in there, giving the corner away.
Quite been out of the races today, Jordi Alba. He delivers.
Messi, the first touch.
As far as Messi. Cremassi. Finds through Suarez, who no doubt will then deliver it back into the danger area. Now for a goal kick for PSG.
Yeah, I think it's been a very difficult game for Jordi Alba to come back into. His first start for an awful long time. Pace of this game's just been a little bit too much. They're finishing well though into Miami. It's probably an idea of PSG just dropping down a gear or two though.
I don't know if
such a key part of the side, Jordi Alba.
Well,
heavily always involved in the assist. He hasn't really had a chance to create or cross the ball in.
You just want Messi to score one goal.
In any battle that he's had with Achraf Hakimi. Dembele, that one gets trapped under his feet. Thankfully, that's Vitinha in support though. That's Skellier. Vitinha.
Close.
Again, one of his no trademark no-look passes.
Close, but Alba read it.
Here comes Messi. 3-1, look at that. So, I mean, 3-1. It's like you're letting him play.
This Inter Miami attack forward.
There you go. There you go.
Cremassi. Ball gets caught in his feet. Redondo, Cremassi interchange well. Overlap, there's Jordi Alba. Lofts it back for Messi.
Donnarumma said, nope, you must
He'll
score.
head that one
Nope.
towards goal. Not his usual
People said
fashion.
Got to admire Messi's fitness levels though at 38. Still going on close to 80 minutes of this game. Three men over to try and stop Kvaratskhelia. I'm surprised he's never got at his full-back Cello a lot more, with Cello being on a yellow card. Just couldn't find a corner there, Messi.
So he deserves a goal, Kvaratskhelia. He did score the 100th goal in the FIFA Club World Cup competition, but he didn't know much about it against the Al Sounders. It was a free kick that ricocheted off him. His only goal before that was in that Champions League final, that 5-0 win. I think he's deserved the goal today. Kramasi dispossessed by Barcola. PSG scored all 4 goals in the first half, believe it or not. They've come close in this second half, but unfortunately, just 10 minutes to go. They haven't been able to add to their tally.
I think it's a case of PSG just, as I said, dropping down a gear, but
his fitness
making sure there's a lot left in the tank for their next game. Massive game that's going to be.
Can you believe it? 2 years to 40. The guy's still doing strong.
So possession now for PSG's king. Serious overload right side for PSG. That's what they do when they're at their best. They create overloads in wide areas. Midfield boys don't really give the ball away. A lot of their good play comes from the midfield players being technically very good, but it normally starts with players out wide.
Kramasi.
There they come. That's Messi.
They have to try and bring this forward for Inter Miami. He's stuck under his feet. It's not the best of passes. I'm surprised if we saw 1 or 2 more Inter Miami players just been introduced for this last 8 minutes or so. A packed crowd here for the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Suarez. Can they go all the way through to Messi? It can't. Pacho is there. The Ecuadorian defending well. Inter Miami not giving up on this one. They at least want the goal to give back to those fans that have travelled in their numbers across to Atlanta.
I need PSG to play a football.
More so those Messi fans that have tuned in all around the world.
Stop. You know, I feel like they were trying to get Messi to score a goal. Just play. You know, you're showing them too much respect. Just beat the shit out of them.
Redondo as well after a mishap there. Busquets. Alba, Messi and Suarez create a little box on the pitch, but unfortunately the age is showing.
I think that's been a feature of this tournament for Inter Miami, how strong they have been in second halves. This goes really against the grain because of their age.
Cole not giving up on that one. We'll pull the one back. Maxi Falcone.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt here, Falcone. I think both players had eyes on the ball. as he caught Lucas Hernandez. Looked like it was accidental.
Very strong at this team.
5 minutes left on the clock, Don. How far can this PSG team go in the FIFA Club World Cup? Are they winners?
Absolutely. All the way is the answer to that.
They take on Bayern Munich or Flamengo in the quarter-finals. That game in the round of 16 follows this one. You can catch it live on the DAZN app alongside all the FIFA Club World Cup matches, 63 of them in total. Of course, the final of the competition being played. Well, this isn't the last time that the Mercedes-Benz Stadium will be filled with this level of support, because the other round of 16 tie between Borussia Dortmund and Monterrey, the Mexican giants, they play here alongside one of the semi-finals of the competition.
I think it's been a privilege for us to follow some teams around that we've not seen before. Sundowns from South Africa are a great watch, very entertaining. Ulsan HD from South Korea. Dortmund we've seen a couple of times, very impressive. Inter Miami, I'm not going to go any further, but they've impressed us along the way.
That was always the case, wasn't it? Of this FIFA Club World Cup. Well, well, well.
Messi time.
Is this Messi magic?
You can feel the buzz inside the stadium.
Is this a late birthday present from Luis Suarez? Because in the exact same area, well, Lionel Messi scores his 68th free kick just 10 days ago against Porto.
And for Messi, this is in the perfect position. Donnarumma has to make sure he gets that wall lined up correctly, but still, he's got options here, Messi. He can go top left-hand corner, or he can try and clip it over the wall. Perfect for him. And I wouldn't put it past him.
It's a goal that might mean a lot to the football world, but for Inter Miami, it won't change much. They are heading out of the FIFA Club World Cup, but he could be heading out with a smile as the football world watches on. At 38 years of age, Lionel Messi to step up to score again from another free kick. No, not that time.
No chance.
A strong PSG wall, which really does back up the performance they've had as they look to counter-attack.
No chance.
Can Barcola keep it in play? He can.
Oh, wasted there.
Fortunately runs into 2 or 3 Inter Miami players, though. You just thought for a second, Don, that was going to be
I know.
going into the top corner, didn't you?
I thought it was written. So there's 65,000 fans inside the stadium. Done it against Porto, just couldn't repeat it tonight. Shame.
I just want to see Messi score goals.
Well, out of all the 3 American sides that came to the FIFA Club World Cup, of course, Inter Miami, LAFC and Seattle Sounders, they were the first side in Inter Miami, not just to qualify for the knockouts, not just to win a game, but also to beat a European opposition. Just to echo the words of Mascherano, Dom, of how big of a tournament this has been for them, just to showcase the footballing world, what they've been building since 2018.
I know there's some teams not here, but he's right in what he was saying by putting the MLS on the map, and he more or less can officially say they're one of the best 16 teams in the world. So rightly so, he's bigging up the MLS and Inter Miami.
Skelia, Vitinha. Off to Ousmane Dembele. Busquets.
Still fit enough to get across there, Sergio Busquets. Still got that pride in the name on the back of the shirt as well, the badge on the front.
No, I forgot Busquets played today.
Still ticking over as we've seen in this FIFA Club World Cup at 36 years of age. Just 2 minutes of added time here from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Here's Lee. And now for a goal kick.
It's going to have to be a special team that beats PSG in this tournament.
They've had quite an interesting season, haven't they, PSG? By their own doing, how good they've been. Their season hasn't stopped. Most teams finish their seasons in May, but with the FIFA Club World Cup, the UEFA Super Cup that follows, of course, not long after this one, they're going to be on to play about 66 games this season. That's a lot of football.
They're fit enough and good enough to do it, though.
2 or 3 weeks off, and the next thing you know, they kick off their next season campaign in the French League One. For Luis Enrique's side, in the FIFA Club World Cup, 10 goals scored, only conceded 1. And they're heading off to a quarter-final. But they'll be playing Bayern Munich or Flamengo. Again, that one live on the DAZN app later on today. Smiles all round for Luis Enrique. Off no doubt one of his best ever seasons as a manager. A magnifique performance from the Parisians in Atlanta, Georgia. It was always about who scored first and how this one would end. A hug between a former manager and player. Messi's Miami en route the FIFA Club World Cup. And for Luis Enrique, his PSG side are steamrolling the competition. They go through to the quarter-final stages here as the full-time result is Paris Saint-Germain 4, Inter Miami 0.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you win a game. You know, with respect. I think Luis Enrique must have gone, you know what, we don't need to beat them 10-0. Show them a bit of respect. Because the goals they scored were out of nothing, it was just simple passes and everything. And second half, they turn it down and they just say, you know what, we're just gonna sit back. If you score, you score. If you don't score, then we're not gonna score anymore. But I think it's just out of respect they decide not to score again second half. But the bench, people coming off the bench, people going off. You can just see if they want to beat Inter Miami 4-5-0, they could easily do it. Where they beat them 4-0, but if they want to make it 10 or something like that, they could have easily done it. But out of respect there, I can see why they did. And Messi, they nearly got him to score a goal as well, but you know. But this PSG team is scary. It's the best team. I don't care if they win this competition or not. It doesn't even matter if they win this competition. They're still the best team around. Let us know what you think. What's the next game? Who's playing next? Let's have a look. I think it's Bayern Munich playing next. 9 o'clock. Okay, right. I'm gonna take a quick break because I need to eat something. Um, that we can stream the Bayern Munich versus um Flamengo. Should I just leave this stream, let you keep it running, or just I'm gonna set up a new one. I'll set up a new one for the Bayern game. So, but it's been brilliant watching PSG, man. It's been absolutely. They make everything look so easy when they play other teams. They make everyone look like um, they win games in a professional manner. Everybody turns up. They all turn up. They're not just sitting there waiting for somebody to. I don't know if that's what Xavi's trying to get Real Madrid to do, but this team is scary. It's absolutely scary. Like I said, I don't care if they're winning or not. They're still the best team. They are still the best team. Messi did his thing, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And yet there are superstars of this team, but they all just humble. Like they all play for each other. So PSG will face the winners between Bayern Munich and Flamengo, right? Which kicks off at 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock, I shall see you guys at 9 o'clock to watch the Bayern Munich versus Flamengo game. Hurricane against the champions of Europe. Um, for a place in the semi-final. That'll be nice, isn't it? Bayern Munich versus PSG. Um, that'll be a good game. Two European giants. You know, but I also know if you coming back to watch the. Um, I know a few people, new people join us to watch it later on. At 9 o'clock, I'll set you up. I also know if you can't make it, then feel free. All the best. But thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for interacting. Whichever way you've done it. Thanks for sharing the stream. Um, it wasn't as big as the one yesterday, which is due to the drama yesterday. Which is why I think helped with the stream last night. But we still made it. We still made it into the top five or something like that. So thank you for all that you've done for us. For even if you're nipping in for a minute or two, appreciate that. The three clubs that are definitely through to the quarterfinals now, as it stands, we've got Palmeiras of Brazil, Chelsea, England, Paris Saint-Germain, France. So that is a good. I said before this tournament when I watched the first two games, right? After watching the first two games of the South American teams, the way they played, I did say if the South American team can find a bit of discipline, I can see them winning this competition easily. Like I'm not even joking because they can do it. They've got the talent, they've got the skill, they've got the players, they've got the energy, they've got the press, they've got the defend, they've got the aggression on them. So, but what they lacked was discipline. I think Palmeiras has got the discipline. They found the recipe for it, and that's why they qualify now for the quarterfinals. So that'll be interesting to see. Watching them next. Um, but let's see what Bayern Munich can do against Flamengo, another South American team. You know, but if they're disciplined enough, they can easily be Bayern Munich. And thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll just see you guys at 9 o'clock. You take care. Peace out.